This simple sales funnel and sales strategy has allowed me to build and scale a remote sales team to more than $100,000 per month in revenue. And today I'm going to share the 3-step simple process that I've used to build a sales team that is able to operate around the world. Now, let me start off by sharing a quick overview about what I think about sales and how I make this process integrated to my overall strategy. Now, the overall strategy is trying to connect with the right person at the right time. And to do this, you need to really understand who your avatar is. Before implementing any good sales strategy, it's going to require some really important in-depth work with the marketing team. So the better communication that your sales team and your marketing team have, the better success that both departments are going to have. Again, if you don't know who your avatar and who you're selling to is, it's going to make that really hard for marketing, and that's also in turn going to make it very hard for the sales team. So building that foundation is going to be absolutely essential before you go ahead and implement this 3-step strategy. So once you've gone and done that, let's go ahead and move into what step number 1 is. So step number 1 is capturing leads, but most importantly, qualifying them. This is where you get the term SQL, or sales qualified leads. Again, we made a few adjustments in our funnel where in the first step, we were only capturing the first name and email. What we did is we just added in a required phone number box. This allowed us to make that MQL into more of a sales qualified lead because we could call them, we could text them, and we could email them, and then capture a little bit more details about them to see if they're qualified to move on to the next step. Again, it might sound really simple, but adding this extra field helped us really isolate and connect more with more prospects, and it also lowered our cost per lead because we were able to extract a lot more out of these leads. Some of the other amazing things that happened when we captured phone numbers were we were able to text people, and text message open rates are more than 90%. While emails are much, much lower. This makes SMS follow-ups one of the most effective ways to connect with prospects and keep the conversation going. Whether you're using a landing page, quiz, or even free offers, your goal should be to incentivize them to hand over their phone number, make it simple and stress-free. Again, the more targeted the opt-in, the better results you're going to have with this strategy. One thing I'll say here is the last thing that for most high-ticket funnels or most sales funnels, only 10 or 15% of people are going to organically go through the funnel. That leaves almost 80 or 90% of people who just go out and disappear into the wind. And you don't want to be flushing your money down the drain. And that's why capturing those essential details like their phone number, it gives you much more to work with for your sales team. And again, this data and this information is only going to be successful if you follow up with step number 2. Now, step number 2 is the setting process. Imagine just having somebody who's dedicated to warming up leads, making sure they're qualified, and then booking a call with your closer. This person has been absolutely essential for our process, and we've used some really cool technology like power dialers, and these tools allow us to really capture and contact people at a large scale. Meaning we can call 4 or 5 people at a time, we can text people, and essentially we're going in with the strategy that, hey, do you need help with X, Y, and Z? Do you still want to achieve X result from our product? We just want to find out if people are interested in, or if we want to follow up with them in the future. So this strategy has worked really well because we understand who our core audience is. Again, that's kind of step 0, is understanding your avatar and what that ICP looks like, that ideal client profile. What does that person look like? How much money are they making? What's their background, their orientation? What goals are they wanting to achieve? Understanding all of that is going to also make sure that our closer and our setter understand who is a good prospect and who should be moving forward through the funnel. So now during all of our process to get on a call with a closer, we're asking some pretty in-depth questions and qualifiers to make sure that this person is qualified to get on that call. Again, we don't want to go for just quantity. We want quality and quantity at the same time, but having a questionnaire for our setter and for people who go through the funnel and book organically, they also need to be qualified. Asking about 5 to 10 qualification questions is going to allow you who to spend time on and who to pass up. Again, it'll separate the tire kickers from the people who have more potential. And last thing I'll say, that if you can't prioritize your leads, you won't be successful in sales. Again, not everyone can be a top priority in sales, so you need to have a system to do this. So step number 3 in the sales funnel and our sales strategy is just a top-notch talent with our closers and our setters. Again, when we were starting off, we didn't have our avatar, we didn't have a good setting process, and we didn't have a good closer. A lot of that stemmed from us not having that core foundation of who our actual avatar was. Once we had built that, we were able to set higher benchmarks to trial our sales team to see if they could get results. Again, the last thing you want to do is bring on salespeople and say, hey, the leads are bad, the system's bad, it's all broken, because you won't really be able to isolate is it a us problem or is it a them problem? And this is so important in sales. You need to see what are the salespeople doing, what is the performance. And this is why I recommend anytime you're doing a hiring round to hire 2 or 3 people at a time, because you're going to be able to benchmark those. So if you don't have an industry standard that maybe you set yourself as, hey, I was closing at this rate, I was able to do this many outreaches, this many connects. If you don't have that benchmark yet, it's probably good to go ahead and create it yourself. But after you've done that, then you can start scaling up your team and you can see, oh, is he a 10 out of 10 player? Is he a 5 out of 10? Or what are the results that this sales guy is actually getting? Again, all of our sales guys are commission only, so they really need to sink or swim. And so that's why I think finding top-notch talent was the hardest point. It took us about 5 or 6 hires to really dial in and find that person who was a perfect fit. And again, you need to also go through and think, who is your perfect customer, but who are your perfect employees? You should probably have a list of things that you look for in a perfect employee. Probably have 4 or 5 years of high ticket closing experience for a similar online offer or something in your space. The offline selling to online selling is a bit similar, but there's still a little bit of a learning gap. And so you need to understand who is that perfect person for that role, and then give them the right tools, the right leads, and the right process to be successful at closing. So this is the 3 steps that we follow to get to over 6 figures a month. And again, I think anybody can replicate it, but it takes time. It takes a lot of iteration, and this did not happen overnight. This took us more than a few years to put it all together. And again, I'm hoping this can save you some time, some failures, and a little bit of headache. If you like this and you want to learn more information, I'm going to leave a link below to my #1 best-selling audiobook. It's usually $20, but I'm giving it away for free today. All you have to do is visit globalcareerbook.com/audio to get your free copy. And again, if this is your first time seeing me, make sure you consider subscribing for the new videos I'm putting out every single week. See you in the next one.